There's a slight change in the subject that I'm going to speak. I was actually asked to speak on the future trends, and that's what I prepared for. So it'll be more on the future trends. I'll try to weave in some of the lessons learned, or what has been the impact of some of the fallacies that have happened in the road construction. I'll try and speak on that as well. So we all know over the last 4-5 years that there is an urgent need to increase the national highways. The need to increase this stems from various points or from various necessities. One is, national highways accounts to only 2% of the overall, the road construction or road length, whereas it carries close to 40% of the population. And there also is a need to increase the road length. If you take an example of a truck, it typically travels about 300 to 330 kilometers in a day, but whereas if you see in other countries, it travels more than 600 to 650 kilometers. So that itself tells us about the state of our roads and how, there are various bottlenecks in its construction. Again, from a safety perspective, there are about 5 lakh accidents which take place every year. Now, this is a very large number, so this is something which the ministry is currently focusing on to bring it down. To more emphasize on the fact that there is high vehicular traffic in the roads, there are some stats on how the two-wheeler traffic has grown from about is growing at about 10.3%, commercial vehicle at about 8.7%, three-wheelers about 5.1%, and passenger vehicles at about 8.9%. There are some stats which are missing here. For example, you might not see bullock carts. So these are also traveling on our highways, but we don't have stats to say what's the percentage at which they are growing. Moving on to the next aspect of what has been the construction activity on national highways. If you see over the last 5 years, or starting from 2010, the construction activity per day has been fluctuating right from 7 kilometers per day going up to 14, 15. But it's only from the last 2 years that we see that this particular growth going from 16 to a current almost 23, 24 kilometers per day and projected to reach about 40 in the next 1 year. We see this happening on a constant basis, and we see this growing. The total road length awarded in 2015-16 is about 10,000 kilometers, 6,000 constructed. It is expected that about another 25,000 would be awarded this year, and with about 15,000, which is very ambitious, which is almost 2.5 times of what's happened in the last year. We hope that this gets completed. If you see the progress, if you see the equipment industry supplying to this particular segment, they are all very gung-ho about the kind of construction activity which is happening. So we all feel that on the ground there's a lot of activity happening. Now we need to know whether it is largely from the pace of the activity, or is it because of the number of projects that are coming up. Again, to show that the focus on road construction has been there from the previous government to the current government, even though the current government is doing a lot more to remove the hurdles which were there in the road construction projects. So you see that there would be about 6.5 lakh crore of investment that's going to happen on these roads between 2018 to 2022. Some of these issues we all know, what have been the issues that have been in the road sector. What have been the reforms which the government has brought about? I've just got some 3 or 4 key items which the government has done to ensure that the progress in road segment happens. There was a one-time fund to clear most of the languishing projects. Any project which was more than 50% complete, the government stepped in to say that we'll help them with a one-time fund. Contracts with poor performance were terminated. This in a way, even though it looks negative, in a way it was positive, largely because if progress is not happening, it is better off to terminate that project and then move on. Then the hybrid annuity model, which we all know about, that's another major thrust area through which a lot of projects have happened through EPC route also, and the exit policy for players.